Ross, today we've seen the appointment of Danny Senda as your new assistant head coach. Just how important a role is this to you?
Incredibly important. Well documented, and everybody will know that sort of back end of last season we sort of found our way through to obviously an early finish, but with the changes that have been made to the backroom staff, that Dean had stepped into that role to a degree. Joby was playing a huge part, albeit with a big strong eye on trying to play again. So I think we sort of managed the way towards the end of the season. So I feel as though it's obviously the perfect time now to recruit and bring somebody in. But I think ultimately it's a massive position. We're very pleased and proud with the staff that we've got in place already. But I felt as though that with me, always having a real focus on coaching and being on the training pitch every day, delivering myself, I needed to be able to remove myself from that and looking at Danny's skills and expertise and the type of character that he is. I feel he's going to be a really good candidate to come in and help me ultimately and help the squad and help the players improve.
Yeah, and what was the process in terms of bringing Danny in, and why was he the standout candidate for you?
A process that I am really, really proud of. We know that in the past there's been some question marks over the types of recruitment aimed at the club in terms of the people that have been brought in. So we were really keen, and I know talking to Nigel and Kent, Matt Porter, Martin, about how we went about this process, we needed to be creative because we found ourselves in a situation where we had to social distance. So getting to meet people and getting to meet new people was always going to be very, very difficult. But at the same time, we needed to be extremely thorough in the way that we went about it. So there was, I would describe it as a lengthy process in terms of the identification of candidates. So it wasn't a job that we advertised, but at the same time we approached some real key figures in the game, the PFA, the LMA, about some recommendations of people. Because I think in a lot of positions, when you're trying to appoint someone as an assistant or a second in command, if you like, it's quite easy to go and find a friend or somebody that you've worked with before and feel as though you can trust. And trust is a huge part of this role. But it was about trying to identify the best possible person out there and not just somebody that I knew. So the recommendations came highly from the PFA and the courses that they've been running over the last few years, and we interviewed 4 candidates. And as I say, the process was an interesting one in terms of a number of phone calls with each person. The use of Zoom was obviously massive. We obviously in the latter stages we were allowed to sort of start getting together and having a coffee and looking upon it in terms of social aspects and getting to know the individual and the person. And then we also included some analysis and some football conversations, some looking back at ourselves in games and looking back at opposition and trying to find some common themes in order to make sure we got the right person. And albeit we got the process and the focus down to 3 or 4 people at one stage, Danny was a consistent member of the PFA's recommendations, and right from the beginning of the process he impressed and obviously continued, and we're delighted, and I'm delighted to finally come to the decision that Danny's the number one person.
Yeah, well, he joins a varied and experienced backroom staff that you've already got here, but what does he bring that perhaps you're missing at the moment?
I think the word experience is a really key one, because when we first started to discuss what my assistant manager was going to look like, the word experience came up a lot, and experience can be managed in so many different ways. Did I, and I know some people will think this, that I might have needed someone with a bit of grey hair and a little bit older that would shout and scream standing behind me, but what was really important was to find if that was going to be the right type of character, was the person that was obviously going to be able to come in and give me some of those strengths, but at the same time complement what I need, what I want, and what we want to see from a Leyton Orient football team and training every day. We feel that Danny comes in with a level of experience of being coaching for sort of good 9 or 10 years now since he retired. He's got some real widespread experiences of working with youth players, developing young players, and of recent times working with Barnet's first team as well. So we feel he's someone to come in and complement the strengths that I feel I probably need to remove myself from at times, in order to be able to manage the team, manage the players and manage the club better. So delighted on that front, and I think he's a really good character, a really good person that wants to come in and not just look upon the role that he's managed to get here as, you know, he's done dusted and happy with what he is. He wants to get better, he wants to take us better, and he wants to make the environment that he's coming into a better one, and we feel he's the perfect person to do that.
In terms of the first team, plans are in place now to try and get back to training imminently. What's pre-season looking like for Leyton Orient in a kind of strange world?
Again, it's similar to what I just said there, really. I think creative is something that we're going to have to be. We had a plan for this pre-season. It was all sorted before lockdown came in, and it was quite traditional, you know, hopefully having a trip abroad and games programme that probably reflected the ones that we've had in the last couple of years, because it's a concept that wasn't broken and the right way to go and approach it. And obviously now we're going to have to do that differently, you know. In the past it's been games against Bishop Stortford and Harlow. Well, is that going to be a possibility now because of testing rules and regulations? So we're going to have to be creative in terms of the way that we create a games programme, a level of intensity, in order to come back to and prepare the players properly. But at the same time, we've got to respect the fact that they've been off for a lengthy period of time, and there's going to be a process of having to ease them back towards what I suppose we would all call sort of normal training. So it's going to have to, we're going to have to think outside the box. But I think, like I've said all along to the staff and the players throughout this process, it's about coming back in and embracing what's out there, what's going to happen, what it's going to look like, what might have changed, and being open-minded and clever and capable enough of adapting and making sure that we give the players the best preparation possible to go into a new season, hitting the ground running and ready to try and improve.
Yeah, so in terms of the playing squad, we saw it confirmed that Marvin Arteta left the club last week. With that in mind, are you looking to bring any more faces this summer?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Marv on that. Obviously disappointing to have lost a player like Marvin. Obviously he's been here over a period of time and experienced success with us. I feel he's really progressed as a player, and I hope he would walk away from here knowing that we've done everything we can to support him to do that. So as tough as it is to see, at the same time it's great to see people progress, and we wish him very well in the future. Certainly, yes, we want to continue to recruit. I think everybody will be able to look at the current squad and know that we've got a lot of players still in contract, which for me, we're excited about continuing with that stability and consistency, which other clubs are potentially not going to have this year, and an opportunity to start to build and look forward from what was starting to look like a positive closure before the season was stopped. But we're certainly looking to recruit in a couple of areas. I think it's important to understand that it's not going to be a massive turnover because of the players that we've already got in contract, because of the impact that this whole scenario will have had on everybody. So it'll be quite focused in terms of what we try to do and try to bring in. But as always, it's exciting to know that there's going to be potentially some new faces coming in. When that is and how that is, obviously will depend on what circumstances take place over a period of time.